Have you ever thought about van life travel? Have you been on the road for a while and you're looking to find your tribe? Well, if so, this video is for you. Hello, my name is Charlie Grace with Charlie Grace Adventures, and I'm going to talk about my personal experience and how I came to be a van lifer and how I sort of went about to find my tribe, because that is the toughest part when you're a nomad on the road. I started my life on four wheels back in 2017. I got an RV, and I got an RV out of, we'll call it utilitarian moments, because my father had passed away and I was trying to find a vehicle that I could go to and from my place and his place. I was spending a lot of money on hotels. I was secretly wanted an RV, but I thought this is a great reason to get it. So I bought myself a little 24-foot Class C RV and realized for the next year, like, this is really fun, but wasn't exactly what I needed because of my family, what was going on. I still had kids at home. I needed a bigger vehicle. So it lasted for about maybe a year and a half. Next thing you know, I'm getting a bigger RV, a 30-foot Class C RV, because I still had teenagers at home, and we were going to campgrounds and doing a lot of fun different things. But then I realized I was soon becoming an empty nester, and that big RV really wasn't needed. So I became a van lifer. And when you become a solo van lifer, things change completely, because now you're on the road by yourself. You're going places, you're doing things. It's really cool and it's really agile, and you can get places and you're nimble in parking lots, and you can secretly boondock in other places that a lot of big RVs could not go. But it's a very different travel lifestyle from RV life. So coming from RV life to van life in and of itself was a huge transition. So the things I loved about RV life was you're pretty much in campgrounds and you're going to really cool places and you're meeting other campers. So campground life is a lot of fun. And if you love making s'mores, if you love sitting by the lake, and you love having maybe the resort lifestyle, there's nothing wrong with RV life. I'm 100% behind it, and I think it's a great experience. But for me personally, I was more of a van lifer. I like hitting those small towns. I like going to those really quirky spots. I like meeting really interesting people. And the van gave me lots of opportunities to do that. It also helped my dog, because my dog really liked going places too, but she liked to be away from other people or away from other dogs. So it gave me that ability to give her a little privacy as well. So as I tiptoed into van life, I still had my life list, my places I want to go, my experiences I want to have all over North America, and I still want to do those things. And it gave me opportunities, places I normally couldn't stay. So a lot of national parks and state parks have very limited number of spaces for large rigs. And now that I'm like, 21 feet in a van, hello, I could go just about anywhere. So it gave me lots of different places I could not have gone in my larger RV, and now I'm traveling there. So I want to tell you right now, campground wise, there's lots of ideas of things to do. If you're an RVer and you're a full-time RVer, I love Thousand Trails. And the reason why I love Thousand Trails is because it gives you a monthly cost per month and a set number of days that you can stay in their parks or in their other list of other participating Encore parks and partnering parks for a flat fee. And it's probably honestly the most economical way to use campgrounds all over North America. So I'm going to leave a link below in the description. If you're interested in looking into it, I highly suggest that's a good way to check out North America and also save a little money on the campgrounds. All right, so let's dive back into van life. So here I am, I'm in a van, I'm having a great time, and I'm going different places. But what I realize is the campgrounds sort of have, sort of almost like a social setting. So everyone gathers around the campfire, you're meeting different people. But as a solo van lifer, it's not the same. A lot more independence, a lot more, people are doing their own thing. And at nighttime, you're like, well, where do we all meet up? Or what do we all do? And there's no more we. It's just me, or me and the dog. So I thought about this long and hard. I thought, I'm going to go to a lot of different van life and nomad meetups all over North America, check them out, and see if I can find my tribe. I went online and I quickly found out that there really wasn't one place that had all these really cool meetups together. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to help you guys out. So I started a website called vanlife.travel. It's www.vanlife.travel. And I thought, as soon as I find these events, I'm just going to list them on this event calendar so other people who are searching them could find them too. So I started listing them. I started looking at where they are in North America and seeing if I could make a travel route that would allow me to travel to at least, 3, 4, maybe even 5 a year. So I could meet different people, create those relationships, and find out maybe I can make a tribe. Okay, here are my fun meetup tips. Number 1, get your communications in order. Find out where you want to be so you can make sure you put a timer on your phone and so you know where to get there. I have been known to be late for all sorts of things, like a women's breakfast. I want to get there, or maybe there's yoga at 2 o'clock. Make a little note on your phone so you know where you need to be, because sometimes you get squirreled away on other things and you forget, and then you wish you would have gone. Make sure you find out if you're plugged in or boondocking. If you're boondocking, make sure your tanks are full, you've got enough water, and you've gone to the grocery store so you have enough food to last you for the meetup. It never hurts to have extra lawn chairs out because you know what? People are walking around and doing things. I don't always walk around with a lawn chair, but if I meet someone, I want to sit down and hang out, when there's an extra lawn chair, guess what? I'm going to sit down, have a great conversation, and you could too. If for some reason you're registered to a meetup or some big event and you cannot make it, please make sure that you contact the organizers because certain events get sold out really quickly and it'd be nice if someone's on the waiting list can come in your stead. So just make sure if you can't make it, you give them a call. Another fun meetup is it's really fun when you park with friends, but if you don't know your friends, guess what? The people you park around become your friends. So who you park with really matters. Oh, and don't forget to bring food to share. It's always nice to hand someone extra soda or a water, like a little snack. People love that. I also like to bring the music and the snacks, and I like to dance a lot. So if I'm at an event, that's probably where I'm going to be. So after 9 years of being an RVer and a van lifer all together, this is what I've learned. I have learned this. Number 1, you need to find your tribe. You need to find people that are like-minded, that want to travel and go different places that you want to go to or have these experiences shared with you. And I think when you do it, it's so much more fun. So every year I attend at least, like I said, 5 or 6 events, and I have them on my calendar. If you want to join my adventure crew, I always have a separate space for my adventure crew to come along to some of these events and even sometimes a secret camp out here or there too when I'm all around the United States that you could join and come camping with us and maybe you can meet your tribe. I'll leave a link in the description below talking about the adventure crew. It's free, it's easy, it just allows you to meet some other people who are possibly like-minded like yourself who want to go on a small adventure and have a great time. Creating your travel community means sharing your skill sets. So if you are someone who is handy in something and you bring your tools maybe to help someone out with maybe you're changing a tire, or if you're like me, sometimes your window falls out, who knows? Things like that are really handy. I am more of a problem solver and I love to solve problems and engineer and upfit ideas. So that's what I bring to the table as well as just being funny. After my first year of having my RV, I actually went out and I sought different kinds of RV clubs to join. There's one called All-Inclusive Motor Coach Association. Really, really cool. They have all sorts of cool events. It's sort of like a cruise and a campground. They set up everything from food, places you're going to go, people you're going to meet. I love, love, love this. I got to go with them to an event in Colorado at Larkspur, and it was a rodeo. And oh gosh, we got to do all sorts of fun events and did a whole theme and big dinners. I loved it. And I got to meet people, which is even more fun. Even got to speak and talk about my top 10 travel apps with lots of other RVers on the road. So some of these events are completely worth it. Now, some are more pricey than others. That's important. Budget is important. Take a look and find out how much you're willing to spend when it comes to a meetup. I've been to some meetups where it's just the cost of the campground. I've been to some meetups where it's campground plus maybe the organizers like going to be doing meals and other things. So I was just at a meetup where it was $55 a night for the campground, and I think it was $65 on top of that for the meetup itself. So depending on what kind of meetup you go to, always check out the price. Things to be aware of. Now, if you're like a solo van lifer like me, here's the deal, guys. I'm not a huge potluck person because I don't make a lot of huge food. I make food for 1. I don't make food for 20 when I'm in my van. But a lot of these meetups have potlucks. So check it out. My go-to potluck thing is deviled eggs. That's what I typically bring. It's pretty easy for me to find eggs and make them on the road. But a lot of people break out those one pots and they make really cool things with rice and chicken and pasta, all sorts of really cool dishes. But get ready. Get that potluck meal ready to share with others. Finding people with different skill sets is really important. I always say common values is number 1, but different skill sets is number 2. I like to find people who are artists, who are mechanics, who have medical experience, whatever it might be. You'd be surprised how much those things are really going to come in handy. Right now I'm at a meetup. I have a lady who's a dog groomer, so guess what? Rosie got to give her pedicure, which is really cool. Appreciate that, Angela. You did a great job. Like maybe changing my oil or anything else I need with my rig. It's nice to find those people who are very handy, who might have an expertise that I may not, or something that I can share back with the group as well. Some things that make meetups a great success, or campouts a great success, is awesome communication. So whether it's WhatsApp or using an app called Yap, something like that where all the participants can know what's going on, if there's things that's happening, whether it be crafts, sing-alongs, bingo, anything like that, it's always really handy to have that. Sometimes people just use a chalkboard or a dry erase board outside, like maybe at the main pavilion, so that way you know what's going on, because that's really important. People want to know and they want to connect, but they need to know when and where to connect. A lot more people on the road are making travel cards or stickers, interesting things that have your name, phone number, contact, whatever kind of contact information you want to have on it. So when you meet people, you can hand it to them and they can connect with you down the road. Others just like to connect via Instagram messaging or do like a messaging app. That's sort of how they connect. But you want to stay in contact with people after you leave the event, because that's sort of how those relationships grow and you never know where you're going to meet them next. So I know I mentioned the adventure crew earlier, and that's another great way how you can connect and leave messages for people who are members in the group. Something really fun about becoming an adventure crew member is that you get to have communication with all the members, which is really nice. So it's private, and you also get to be on the map. So if you want your location sort of known, it's not specific, but like within a 10-mile radius, it'll say, hey, look, Charlie Grace is in Orlando. And you can connect that person and go, hey, you know what? I'm in the Orlando area too. Wouldn't it be great? Let's go out to lunch. Or, hey, I'm going to go camping over in the Ocala National Forest. I love to go hang out, and you can communicate with them on the app. Finding your tribe. After all this time, I've learned my whole travel thing has changed. Ready? Right now I'm going to cool places to see cool people and do cool things. How about you? So what's your idea of community? What would you like to see when you're traveling on the road? Are you someone like me who likes to go solo and take your own pace and then sort of go to meetups and meet other people? Or would you like to have a little bit of a caravan, like 2 or 3 people going along the trip with you? It's always fun, no matter what. So until next week, do me a favor. Hit that like and subscribe and that bell to get notified. I put videos out every single week on really cool topics on van life, overlanding, all sorts of neat things on the road.